Hello everyone, I'm Alex Dykes, and today we're doing an entirely new kind of video segment. This is a 2014 Honda Accord Hybrid, and this is a Graco Classic Ride 50 child seat. We've had a lot of questions from viewers asking how child seats fit in specific vehicles, how do multiple child seats fit in vehicles, how do people and child seats fit in specific vehicles. So in an attempt to answer those questions, I went out and bought a few child seats, and we're going to jam them in every car that we have every week and then do a separate video on those. So let's hop in and take a look. Our first segment is rearward-facing child seats. Right now, as you can see, we have two installed in the car right now, both rearward-facing and both installed with the Honda Accord Hybrid's lap and shoulder belt. This driver's seat is adjusted for me at 6 feet tall, so you can see I have a few inches between this seat and the headrest, so you could recline a little bit more or sit further back if you needed to. This passenger seat is adjusted for a 6'5" passenger I had in the car, so it's a little bit more reclined than my seat, but most importantly, it's all the way back in its seat track. You can see there is still about an inch or two between this car seat and the headrest in this passenger seat. That's because the Honda Accord Hybrid has a fairly large back seat. This is several inches larger than a Kia Optima or a Hyundai Sonata or a Ford Fusion Hybrid. So we do get a little bit more room back here than those other hybrids, and it means that you can put this passenger seat all the way back in its track and still have a child seat behind it, something that you couldn't necessarily do in some of those smaller entries in the mid-size sedan segment. Now we have one rearward-facing child seat that's attached with the lap belt and one forward-facing child seat that's attached with the latch anchors. If this situation describes you, then I applaud you for finding time to watch YouTube videos. Right now we're going to try and close that door, see how well we fit back here. One thing I'd like to mention about this forward-facing child seat is that the Honda Accord Hybrid's center headrest is very easy to remove, which makes it a lot easier to get to that latch anchor right there in the back. The side headrests are also just as easy to remove, and they're also slightly adjustable for rear passengers as well. Now, because this is a rearward-facing child seat, as you probably know, it means we give up a little bit of room there on that far side of the car because the car seat can't be all the way against the door, which means we get a little bit less room for this one passenger back here. And although I probably could sit back here as a passenger for a while, my shoulder is definitely pressing against this side and definitely pressing against the door. So that's just because of how wide the Honda Accord Hybrid is. This is a little bit wider than most mid-size sedans, so this is a little bit comfortable compared to the Kia Optima Hybrid and the Hyundai Sonata Hybrid, which are a little bit narrower and have a little bit less room than this car. But if you want more room, you're going to have to go for something like a crossover. Having this one passenger back here strap themselves in is a little bit easier than I thought because these seatbelt buckles right down there on the Honda Accord Hybrid are made out of the same fabric as these seatbelts, and they're long enough that it's easy to fish them out and find them. It also makes it a little bit easier to install these car seats than certain cars that have very rigidly affixed seatbelt buckles. We now have the car seat situation that strikes fear into the hearts of mortal men, which is 3 car seats in the car at the same time. Perhaps you're taking your 2 kids and your niece or nephew out, something along those lines. You'll need 3 car seats in the car. These 2 are forward-facing, this one is rear-facing. These 2 are installed with the latch anchors, and this one is installed with the lap and shoulder belt in the car. Not terribly hard to close the doors in the car. These do fit relatively comfortably. There is still a decent amount of room between the seat and the last car seat right there. There's a little bit more between this rear-facing child seat and its door than there is between this forward-facing child seat and the door, just because of the way they're arranged. It is possible in the Accord to fit all 3 seats in either a forward or a rearward-facing position. There is a decent amount of room between these seats and the doors when they're installed all 3 in the same direction, so you could go for a wider seat than this Graco Classic Ride 50 seat, and a narrower seat would definitely fit just as easily inside the Accord. Thanks to a relatively generous 12 cubic feet of trunk space, you can fit 3 child seats inside the trunk of the Honda Accord Hybrid. You can also fit a little bit of luggage right back here above the battery pack, and if you take out these child seats on the bottom of the trunk, you'll also find a little hatch. Pull those 3 out. You will find a hatch right here which gives you an additional few cargo feet of storage right there under that cargo lid. There's no spare tire in the Honda Accord Hybrid, so we do get all that space that a normal spare tire would occupy for additional storage right there below that hatch. Again, I'm Alex Dykes, and this has been our very first car seat vehicle review. So if you have any suggestions on how we can improve this, any other additional information you want to know about a car seat in a car, how well they fit, that sort of thing, be sure and comment in the comment section down below. Subscribe to this video. You can also send me an email. Follow those instructions down below, and we'll be sure to include all of your feedback in our next video.